It's the weekly wrap-up. I just talked to you guys earlier today, or earlier this week, I should say, as we were doing the Argentina update. But now on Thursday, it's time for the weekly wrap-up, and it has been so busy in such a good way over the last week that trying to figure out where to start is crazy. So I'm just gonna dive right in. So this week we have so much help on site. We're so thankful. AmeriCorps started, and they will have 8 people for 7.5 weeks. They've already been busy doing fence work. This week it's amazing to have that many people working full time. We also have 2 supporters on site that have been here a week, also volunteering all week helping. And on top of that, we had 2 crew days last week, and we have 2 crew days this week. And so those guys are working on everything from the new bobcat yards to repairing skirting, because even though we're building Catio Town and we're building bobcat yards and fishing cat yards, we still have the maintenance of all the other habitats to do. And so they've been helping with that. And then even yesterday, we had a group of 4 to 5 carpenters on site who were building big cat cougar sized dens. And so they got 2 dens done. So that was awesome. And we've also had to go for a beef run and pick up 2,500 pounds of beef for the cats. We did a recycle run, because you can imagine in a dumpster run, all the metal we're recycling, cardboard with all the wonderful Amazon items you're sending us and Chewy items, and then the dumpster with all the tear downs. So a lot of runs out there back and forth. But they've also, what we really celebrated yesterday is we had kind of a staff and AmeriCorps, an intern party with cupcakes and everything, celebrating the complete teardown of the old hybrid area as of pretty much yesterday. The last bungalow that's leaving went down. And it's just amazing how much different it looks here at the sanctuary. And we're excited and hoping it dries up soon for the site prep to work. The next stage is a few of the trees have to come down that were around the habitats to make space for the big building and the catios. And then also to remind you guys, stay tuned for next week, because we will be launching the Catio Town, it's a tongue twister, Catio Town campaign, where you can get involved, where you can help us finish the 1,800 square feet we still have to cover, how we're going to fill Catio Town with new cat furniture and things like that. And so stay tuned, we'll show you how to get involved. So on top of that, we had vet visit days for Eve. The Asian leopard cat was seen for a wellness exam, and everything looked good. The interesting fact is we had Eve as tagged based on the paperwork that came from us on her rescue, that she was a senior geriatric cat. And what we found is she's probably more like 4 to 6 years old. So we're counting, 5 years old on the records. So we were happy that her teeth were young, her body condition was young, and she was not what her paperwork said. So I'm sure there was a typo or a mix-up, but we're happy about that. And she did really well. Also, Savannah cats, they're very feral and shy Savannah cats. Monica and Phoebe had their wellness exams, and we used that as the opportunity to sedate them in their bungalow, bring them in for the vet exam, and then wake them up in their new temporary yard. So all Bengals and hybrids that had to move for Catio Town are also all in their new yard. Tiger and Max moved first, and then Monica and Phoebe joined them after their wellness exam, and Max and Tiger are absolutely fine with it. So that was awesome there. They've been working a lot on getting the skirting done in the bobcat yards and Sushi's yard. And so what happened is they got the skirting done and dug out, the corner patches, the detail work. Once you have the walls and ceiling, the detail work is still a lot. It's 50% only done when you have all that done. And then 4 new bungalows came, 4. 2 for Catio Town, because we have to replace the ones that are staying, and one for sushi and one for the Bobcat yard we're working on. So that was awesome to see those big buildings come. And then also when we were tearing down Catio Town, we inspected every building. So some of the buildings we knew we were going to save, but we were able to save one that we didn't expect because it's in a lot better shape than we thought. And so that's going to be used for another Bobcat yard that's going up, because we're just going to build as much as we can with the help we have this year so that every cat has a place to go. And we're looking at, we needed an additional one since Bobcat, Sky, and Celine still are not merging back together. Those sisters seem to want to live on a shared wall, but not together. We also have a volunteers here working on the old Hogan, and that was the old intern trailer or mobile home. And it's been retrofitted for Lupita with a catio, with Eddie and Leo with a catio, and then Tigger has the whole kitchen and living room, and he has windows open. And so that's turned into cat temporary housing. But what they did is they went through all the kitchen and laundry rooms and the supplies, and they're going through everything that's going to be donated, like the dishes and things that are really old, old lamps, things like that, because once Catio Town's done and the cats move back, we are donating that trailer. And so we're just trying to take everything out of it that they won't need. And so much is going on. Some hammocks were built. Perches and platforms that came out of Catio Town have been being repurposed for the new habitats we're doing. We also did a run on landscaping and got willow trees, dogwoods, and more pines for the new habitats. And then part of Catio Town, over the last couple of years, in the hybrid area, we had planted new trees. And so those are small enough, they're about 12 feet or less, that we can dig up and move to the new habitats. So that's going on as well. Let's see. And then we can't forget that Gwen, the jungle cat hybrid known as a Chaucy, has joined our family, traveled across country from New York, from the group Imagine Home, that has a rescue relay across the country to bring cats to their forever home. And we'll be officially announcing her next week. She's definitely a cat that came to us because she is unsocialized to people, but she does like other cats. So she is moved into Bungalow 7, where Jewel, Merlin, and Ledger are, and Rachel. I'm trying to remember everybody's names. I know everybody's names, but boy, everybody's moved across the sanctuary lately. And so that she's in kind of what we call a holding area. So she's got her own private space and getting to know them through the fence. And then over the next week, we'll hopefully introduce her out and you'll get to see more pictures of her then. So we'll keep that. Crew days this weekend are going to be working on Beauty's skirting, and the wall between Beauty, Brenna, and Ramsey has been heaving due to the winter and the frost. So they'll be locked in and they'll have to dig that up and redo that. We are kind of putting a whole list of everything that needs to be done this year. And the Asian leopard cat's yard, we want to backfill so it's taller because it's going to be right next to Catio Town. And then even though the building has gutters, we don't want the water to run off and then fill and then go into the yard. So we're going to fill up their yard so their yard's taller than the ground on Catio Town. So that's a new thing we're doing too. They're going to be digging for Sushi's pool, and we're not doing a concrete pool for her. We got kind of those landscape pond pools and a couple of them so that they can flow in and have some water motion. So that's going to be working on. It was great to see the caves that went in. And it's just, I'm trying to think of everything else. Well, on top of that, we are really hoping that Harley, who lives next to Riku's group, will have some positive interaction. He's really decreased his hissing at them. So they're going to start peeling back the shade cloth between the two in hopes that they get along a little better. There's mesh there, and hopefully for a full merger. If that can't happen, we'll find another group for Harley for sure. And then there are some play dates going on. We aren't going to be updating sponsors. We never do until a play date is completely finished because you just never know if it's going to work. So we are working on merging some savannas together and doing some play dates. And so far, it's pretty good until they all kind of run to see a person or food comes and they get into each other's space and then they all overreact. So we are out there working on that, and we'll definitely make an announcement if all these savannas that we are hoping are together merge. And then it's just been wonderful seeing kind of the weather's been good, so walking around and seeing all the cats, doing thank you tours for the crew days, donors, things like that, to be able to just see everybody enjoying the summer weather. And then we're preparing for those big cat moves. So next week, Tarek and Polina are supposed to be moving to Phelan Meadows where Dimitri and Griffin were. And so what they've been working on there is that Tarek is so big that they wanted the guillotine doors cut larger so he didn't have to slink down. And so that's taking time. And then what we use that time to, while the enclosure's empty, is to go around and inspect everything, from the wood on the platforms to heaving to toys to, you know, anything we can, and then do all the maintenance before we move the cats over. And then after that, we have the next move will be Alyssa Lilager moves to Tarek and Polina's yard. So another caretaker has inspected everything in their yard and adjusting it for when Alyssa moves, what's going to be needed. And Alyssa's the opposite. Instead of making it taller, she's older and sometimes trips her feet in, mostly because she's running so fast in and going over the ledge. So her ledge will be removed so that she doesn't do that coming in and out of the building. There'll be some perches that need to be redone, things like that for her. And our big hopes is that her and Shazam have a great relationship through the fence, that she finally gets that calm cat next to her again that she likes so much, because obviously Nova and Indy are not calm or Dash. So those moves will be happening over the next couple of weeks. And then after that, more cat moves will be doing that, as we talked about, so that there'll be an open space that's appropriate for Lucy from Argentina when, you know, that process actually moves forward and we have it in sight when transport might be. So it's definitely been busy. The office staff have been preparing for the Catio Town launch of the campaign. Over the next couple of weeks, you'll see a direct mail piece hit homes. You'll see e-newsletter. We have more information on our website, but it is just, I can't tell you how excited everybody is that we're getting closer and closer, especially when we have mud and you're going in and out of bungalows and it's soggy and you're deciding to put platforms down and things so that it's not so soggy. We're like really excited about Catio Town. And then we have more vet days too. The summer is when we do big cat vet exams. And that's because then they can recover in their rooms and the weather's good for recovery. And so there'll be a lot more vet things coming up as well. So no shortage of projects. This is the time of year where really everything is focused on the outdoors, because in Minnesota, we're lucky if we have 4 to 5 months, and that 5 months would be really pushing it, of construction season. So we spend as much time outside as we can. And we're repurposing things. So everything that came out of the hybrid yards, the interns are pressure washing, determining if they're salvageable, if they're donated, if they're gonna go just be used for the temporaries, they're gonna go into Catio Town. We also did really deep spring cleans. So they pressure washed all the animal buildings, washed down what we call the human areas, everything from the lights to the bug zappers to the utility rooms. And that's kind of our way to start the year. And now we're doing the summerization too. So everything from getting pools set up, putting shade cloths up, taking down extension cords. We're also taking out a lot of the bed boxes because the cats don't use them. And then we just don't want them sitting in their urine. They use them as litter boxes, and then giving more cats hammocks. So it is definitely a big changeover. It's sometimes like running 2 facilities when you have the change of seasons. And so it's just one of these days I'll do my Wildcat Wrap-up outside. but I know Judson and Olivia will do a great job of showing you all the construction. And we haven't strategically been sharing the teardown of Catio Town on live posts because we kind of wanted it to happen all at once, or, you know, through the process, and then capture it so you guys can kind of see it in the videos and photos they're going to be sharing. But they will be posting, I know, over the next few days, if they haven't already, 2 things. One is they're going to be posting some photos of the caves and the platforms and the Bobcat and Sushi's yard so that you can see where the money you gave earlier this year went, and including the prefab buildings that are coming for the areas. It's really important that you guys get to see the progress, that you guys get to see your hard dollars at work. And so look forward to that. And the other thing is we are scheduling our second staff and intern reunion for July. So we'll be posting that. So if you're a former staff member or intern, definitely watch for that. We'd love to have you back to see the animals you love, to do a crew day, and to really just catch up, see what everybody's up to, where they are now, and the things they're doing. So would really love to have everybody back for that. After that, I don't know what can be after that. We've already, like I said, we already have our list of another enclosure. I'm trying to spend most of my summer here, but I do have some conferences that I've been asked to attend. AmeriCorps, too, when they came, the first thing they did is we took them through the Small Cat Crisis campaign to learn about the projects they're working on. So it's not just about coming and tearing down the fence and building the fence, it's about learning the why behind the work. And so they really were shocked and really interested in the captive wildlife crisis, and specifically the small cat crisis, since those are the projects they're working on. And we saw Cedar Hill and a few other sanctuaries like Wildcat Ridge talk about the small cat crisis. I know Big Cat Sanctuary Alliance posted something. I know Turpentine's been talking about it. So, you know, we've been talking about it for years, but the big cats got the attention, and rightly so, because of the public safety factor and the cub petting issues we were having. But now we can focus on the small cat crisis, which has, I would say, 10 times more breeders than the big cats, 10 times more market because everybody can buy them, unlike tigers. And so having all the sanctuaries and more sanctuaries come on board to talk about the small cat crisis, because they're seeing more small cats surrendered or seized all the time, is a win-win. We love that everybody is really getting behind this and really trying to find a way to be the solution to the small cat crisis. And we know, as much as Catio Town is coming and the work we do, we give them a wonderful home, but that is not, that's a Band-Aid. We all are getting in front of it by education, hopefully legislation, and thank you guys all for educating, because that's really where we have to start, because we all can't absorb every small cat that needs a home. We will all do the best we can as sanctuaries, but we really need to curb the influx of those animals into the pet market, and then the influx of their surrender rate due to their wild behaviors. So again, thank you guys so much. I know this is a quick one today, but I want to get back out there and actually put your donation dollars at work. And so I look forward to seeing you again next week after the announcement and launch of Catio Town to talk more about that and how you can help. Have a great rest of your week.